Well, finally, after what's felt like an eternity of a month and a half of the mystery behind where Juan Soto wanted to play baseball, hearing countless noise of nonsense and reports, something that felt like a never ending cycle of doom, it's over. He's staying in New York. There started to be some rumblings about Soto signing very soon in the first night of the MLB winter meetings taking place in Dallas, Texas, so everyone was basically on standby until boom. Steve Cohen had been a little quiet as of the last couple of years. The Mets hadn't really made any massive free agency splashes. But this offseason, Cohen decided to remind everyone who has the most money, putting his balls on the table and getting this done to keep Juan Soto in New York with just a slight little move over to his side of the fence. Juan Soto is a New York Met, and there are several important things to look into here. First off, the contract made history. It's a 15-year deal worth $765 million, so $51 million a year. None of it being deferred, so the Dodgers continue being the one franchise that knows deferrals exist, I guess. And the contract also has escalators that can reach above $800 million. Not literal escalators that can go 800 million feet high or something. Although I wouldn't doubt Steve Cohen to be able to somehow provide that to Soto if he wanted it. But certain incentives can get this thing to over $800 million. I mean, insane. The deal also includes an opt-out after 5 years, although I wouldn't look too much into that. Unless Soto can somehow get about $500 million at age 31, it's not going to happen. It's just there to have as an option. And if the Mets want to avoid Soto's opt-out after the 2029 season, they have to increase his annual salary from $51 million to $55 million beginning in 2030. So it's a lot of money going on here. And this opt-out is just there to have as an option. But in reality, Soto is going to be a Met for the next decade and a half. That is insane. And shout out Adrian, by the way. Just like you should hit that subscribe button if you enjoy the videos and haven't yet. Adrian nailed his Mets prediction. That's a joke. I'm joking. Adrian is the son of the Mets manager Carlos Mendoza, who leaked pretty much this exact deal on TikTok before deleting his account and seemingly getting the ass whooping of his life. Although since it ended up all working out, should he be in trouble? Either way, we really had a freaking child breaking Juan Soto's contract on TikTok before GTA 6. The Red Sox offer to Soto was $700 million over 15 years, which is obviously competitive, but Cohen beat it out, which is where it really does show what Soto valued here. Money, which is fine, and he's been consistent with that for years. Soto has never once said he was open to a hometown discount to stay at any of the other previous teams he's been on. Not the Nats, not the Padres, and before the Dodgers even popped champagne after beating the Yankees in the World Series, Soto was publicly saying every team has the same shot. I mean, Aaron Judge hadn't even fully comprehended what happened, and he was like, yeah, I can go to any team. Okay, obviously the Pirates and the A's were never in on Soto, but you get the idea. Soto was going to the highest bidder. He made it that simple, and he damn well meant that, because if he really wanted to be in Boston, he would have left $65 million more guaranteed dollars on the table. Yeah, he would only have $700 million if he did that, but I'm gonna assume he'd be okay. And if you want an even greater example as to how set Soto was on going to the highest bidder, take a look at the Yankees' final offer. 16 years, $760 million. Think about that for a second. One more year and about $5 less million. That's $3.5 million less per year. Okay, so Juan Soto signed with the Mets because they offered him a few more million. Yes, millions of dollars is a lot of money no matter how much. But when you're talking about the difference between $47.5 million a year and 51, that means nothing. So what this means is Juan Soto really did not want to stay a Yankee, and or he just simply wanted to go to the highest bidder and took that to heart. If you ever had any doubt that was the case, this is the proof. Soto rejected the Yankees offer because it was $5 million overall less guaranteed money. And at this point, if you're a Yankees fan, you cannot at all be upset at the team. I mean, I feel like that's pretty obvious. Same with the Red Sox and their fans, I would say, but for a different reason. For Red Sox fans, I would say them not getting Soto isn't that upsetting in the end because of how much the contract was, and it gets to a point where it just truly isn't worth it. You could just spread that money out to so many different parts of your team. And the Red Sox have such a good future with their young guys and prospects. Like, yeah, anybody would love to have Juan Soto, and the Red Sox offered him $46 million a year, but when it gets to the point that it did, you got to just accept Soto just wants the most money possible. He doesn't want to be on the Red Sox enough, and it's time to just move on. For Yankees fans, I mean, this is a guy who was just with your team and went on a World Series run. Now, yeah, Soto never said or gave any sort sort of hint that the Yankees had any advantage because he was with them before free agency, but you can't be mad at Hal Steinbrenner, the ownership, and overall team. You gotta just accept Soto clearly didn't care enough to be a Yankee, which I think most of them will come to terms with, which will make his first games back at Yankee Stadium very fun to watch. Like, I'm getting LeBron going back to Cleveland for the first time vibes, potentially. He was only with them for a year, but I think it's more about the fact he chose the Mets and for a few extra millions more. I mean, these offers were so close at that point. Yeah, the Yankees offer was less, but the money doesn't matter anymore. So is $51 million a year for Juan Soto, none of it being deferred, worth it? I think yes and no. Because they stretched this damn thing out so long, the annual salary is still pretty manageable if you're the Mets. Juan Soto is a generational talent. He's so young. For all those reasons, this is worth it. But it, of course, could very well backfire if Soto regresses, doesn't age well, gets hurt. I mean, it's obviously not rocket science at all to see this as a risk, even if Soto is young and incredible like he is. So time will tell better than any of us can right now. But my takeaway is, honestly, I feel like everyone should walk away from this satisfied. All parties involved. If you're the Red Sox, I just don't know if it's the smartest thing to pay that massive of a contract when you have such a bright future full of young, promising players in the minor leagues and big leagues even. I'd argue of the three, the Red Sox are in best shape moving forward with how their roster looks in the organization as a whole. They look to have a really good future. Yeah, Juan Soto is awesome, but if you really have to go this overboard, like I said, it gets to a point where you just move on and spread that money out a lot more. If you're the Yankees, obviously you have every right to be pissed at Soto and look at him as a villain now because he took every last penny he could instead of taking a Yankee contract that virtually wasn't any different. But look at it this way. It's almost like when you break up with someone and they do a lot of stupid stuff afterward. Like, imagine they start dating someone a week later, which shows that they didn't really value you as the one. It barely took them any time to find someone else. They're actually doing you a favor and showing you why it's best you split up. Yankees fans can be disappointed, but you can also at least take away from this that the Yankees did just about everything they could, and Soto just simply didn't want to play for you enough and wanted a little bit more money and or to play with the Mets that much more. I feel like you can be at peace with that. It just wasn't meant to be. And for the Mets and their fans, you get arguably the best hitter in baseball who's only 26 years old with a fun personality to join Francisco Lindor in a Mets franchise hungry to dominate this league. Worry about the other stuff later. Right now, that's exciting. And considering how all the other offers ended up lining up, this seems like the end goal that was supposed to happen all along. There were a lot of hurdles and going through mazes to get to the end result, but it ended up being the most expected one all along. Soto wanted the most money, Steve Cohen gave him the most money. Let me know your thoughts and thank you for watching.